Hey y'all, I'm Megan and welcome to my channel. In this video I wanted to talk to you guys about some things I learned about marriage and about relationships through infertility. A lot of times when we're stuck in the middle of infertility, all we see is the bad and the hurt and the pain that it brings. But sometimes you have to stop and look at your situation and say, what can I learn through this? What is God trying to teach me? What is He trying to show me? How is He trying to pull me out of my comfort zone and help me to grow and develop more as a person, as a Christian, as a mom, as a wife, as a sister, as a daughter? How is He trying to help me become more than what I am right now through this struggle? So I kind of just pulled some things that I learned more about how to love my husband better and how to be a better wife and eventually be a better mother. So I'm gonna go start at 5 and go down to 1 for you guys. So number 5 is say I'm sorry. Sometimes you don't want to say I'm sorry. Your pride is gonna get in the way, your flesh is gonna get in the way, and it's gonna say I'm right and I shouldn't have to say I'm sorry, and why do I have to say I'm sorry? I don't want to say I'm sorry. But sometimes you need to just set that aside and take your feelings out of it, take your flesh out of it, and be the person that goes to your spouse, whether that's your husband or your wife or even a friend or a relative, in whatever relationship context you're using these in, and say, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done this. I'm sorry that I hurt you. And how can we work to make this better? How can we communicate better? How can we grow and stronger in our relationship through this? So just say I'm sorry. And one thing that we have also learned about saying I'm sorry is that you can't say I'm sorry and then say but. It has to be a genuine and a sincere apology. I'm sorry. It needs to come from your heart. It can't just be I'm sorry and then explain why you feel like you were justified in your situation. You just have to be sorry, genuinely and sincerely sorry. Number 4, extend grace. God extends grace to us time and time again. So why would we not extend that same grace that we've been given to our spouse or to our significant other or to whatever relationship we're in? Extend grace. We're human and we are going to make mistakes. And sometimes it's really easy to say, oh, you made that mistake and you shouldn't have done that. You need to be perfect. I know I feel like I need to have everything perfected before I do something. So it took me so long to start YouTube because like it needs to be perfect. I need to have the right camera. I need to have the right lighting. And when all I really needed to do was just jump in there and get my feet wet and get started. Sometimes you need to just extend that grace to them. Sometimes maybe it's hard to understand what exactly grace means. So Merriam-Webster has quite a few definitions for the word grace in different contexts and different parts of grammar. And the best definition that I've found from Merriam to help me understand what grace means is the quality or state of being considerate or thoughtful. So grace to be just means understanding maybe what's going on in that person's life to make them act a certain way or to do a certain thing, and what's going on in my life that's making me act this way. Why am I being irritable? Those kinds of things. So extend your husband or wife's grace. When you're going through infertility, you're going to have a lot of bad days, and it's easy to take those feelings out on someone else when really it's something that you need to deal with in your heart. So give them some grace to work out the things that they need to work out on their own. Everybody processes things differently. So let them have their time to figure out what they need to figure out and then come back together and work through it as a team. Number 3, forgive daily. This is another thing that God extends to us, is forgiveness for the things that we've done. You don't want to hold a grudge and hold something that someone has done in between you to where you can't continue to grow together and closer to God together. You've got to forgive. With forgiveness, like grace, we have to understand that our husband or our wife is human, just like with grace, that we are going to mess up sometimes. And sometimes we have to extend that forgiveness in order to continue to grow as a couple, and grow together and just become stronger as a unit. Especially in infertility, you're planning on bringing kids into the world, and you need to be able to resolve those conflicts in a way that is going to teach your children how to resolve conflicts in the future. So forgiveness is just key, I feel like, in any relationship. Number 2, don't place blame. I don't know your infertility story, but I would love to hear about it, and you're more than welcome to tell me about it down in the comments. But if you're struggling with infertility, it may be just one person in the relationship that's having infertility issues, or it could be both. On our part, we have infertility coming from both sides. But in your relationship, it might just be one or the other. And I feel like it's really important here not to place blame on one person. I think that's where it can go wrong. Maybe you're struggling with miscarriage or loss of a child or loss of a loved one. And it can be easy to place blame on someone to help yourself rationalize the situation, because there's some situations like miscarriage and infertility and loss that it's really hard to understand why something like that is happening. But when you place blame on the other person that's in your life and that is struggling with the exact same thing that you're struggling with, then it's going to drive a wedge between you, and it's going to increase the distance between you, and it's going to be hard to recover over time the longer that distance has time to grow. Just be able to set aside, again, your pride and say, there's two sides to this story. There's two things that happened to create the struggle or to create the issue, and just love each other through it and work with each other through it. And then number 1 is to say I love you. Actually say it, to verbalize it. I don't know if you've ever heard of the 5 love languages, but it's a book by Gary Chapman. I'll place a link below where you can purchase the book, or where you can go and take a quiz to find out what your love language is. Now, it's been a while since I've done the quiz, but my love language, or my top love language, is physical touch. So whether that's holding hands, or if you know me, really love hugs. If I'm going to greet you and I'm going to meet you, I'm probably going to give you a hug. But that physical touch is just something that lets me know, hey, I'm here, I'm with you, I'm going through this with you. So take the quiz and find out what your love language is. And not only focus on what your love language is, but focus on what your partner's love language is as well. How do they accept love? How do they show love? How do they want to receive love? And I don't remember what all the 5 love languages are. I'll post it in the comments below as well, so you can see what they are, and so that you can take the quiz for yourself and see how you show love and how you accept love and how you can show love better to your partner. But don't just do those things or show your husband or wife love in the way their love language are. You have to actually say the words, I love you. Say them when you wake up in the morning. Say them before you go to bed at night, when you get off the phone, when you leave the house. You never know when's the last time you're going to tell that person I love you. And sometimes I love you is just a reminder that, hey, we're in this together. Hey, I love you. A reminder for them and a reminder for you of what you vowed and what you agreed to stick out with each other. So make sure you say it. Say the words, I love you. I hope you guys are liking these videos and enjoying the content, but I want to know what you want to hear about. Do you have questions about adoption? Do you have questions about infertility? Do you have questions about treatments? Do you have questions about doctors? Do you have questions about me? What do you want to hear? What do you want to see? I just did a garage sale this weekend with my mom to help raise some funds to finish off Henry's adoption. We're really close to having it paid off, and we are really close to finalizing. I'll share the date with you guys as when it gets closer, so that you can experience that with us. But is there something that you want to hear me talk about? I'm going to do a video in the near future about fundraising. We've done a few fundraisers to help with both of our adoptions that we've gone through, because the prices of adoptions and infertility and treatments, it's high, and insurance doesn't always cover it. I hope that you're a lucky one whose insurance does cover some things. Our insurance won't cover anything related to infertility, and it's rough. It can put more strain on your marriage than what needs to be there. So that's also why I wanted to do this video, so that you can learn some things to kind of help you work through those issues. But again, I'd love to hear your comments in the video below. Remember, you can follow me on Instagram at Wonderfully Whitten, or on Facebook at Wonderfully Whitten. So make sure you go out there today and the next day and the day after that and live life wonderfully made. Bye.